A 6-year highway bill a reality, construction spending on a roll, and a change of command at Terex. That and more on Construction News Tracker, presented by Caterpillar. By a vote of 363 to 64 on November 5th, the House of Representatives approved a 6-year national infrastructure funding measure. The stunning approval, which overcame a parade of 35 short-term extensions, is a new sign of bipartisanship, emerging with the election of Congressman Paul Ryan, Republican of Wisconsin, as Speaker. The bill seeks $325 billion. Of that, $261 billion destined for highways and $55 million for mass transit. AGC, in its response, says the challenge is to locate funding.
What they didn't do was put in place the kind of long-term revenue measures that are needed to keep the Federal Transportation Program and the Federal Highway Trust Fund from running the risk of becoming insolvent again once this bill expires. So our focus at the Associated General Contractors of America will be to really work over the next couple days and weeks to see if we can get those long-term funding solutions included in this bill before it becomes law, and if we can't, to find another bill that's set to get passed quickly that allows us a vehicle to put in place those long-term funding solutions.
The House bill must be reconciled with one from the Senate by conference committee and placed on the President's desk by November 20th. Outpacing forecasts, the nation added 271,000 jobs in October. Construction employment rose by 31,000 and expands the yearly total to 233,000. Associated Builders and Contractors Chief Economist Anirban Vasau says the October expansion shows the monthly hike added the most jobs than the previous 4 months combined, and is particularly impressive given all the fits and starts sustained by contractors, a good sign that workers are returning to the construction field. Meanwhile, construction spending on a roll in the U.S. The Commerce Department stats just released show spending rose 0.6% in September to an annual rate of $1.09 trillion. Breaking down the numbers, apartment construction up 4.9%, single-family home building rose 1.3%, schools and related building increased 2.4%, water-related facility building jumped 4.8%. And overall, residential construction is at its highest level since January of 2008 and peaking now at 4 times the average of the overall economy. That Commerce report is echoed by the latest from Dodge Data, a long-term construction industry barometer. The 2016 outlook predicts a 6% rise in construction starts to 712 billion. Residential building seen as the leader with 16% growth next year, and non-residential up 9%. Unfortunately, the Dodge data sees non-building construction off 14% in 2016. When deleting energy plant projects, however, non-building starts would rise 10%. Overall, most sectors are upbeat about 2016. Forget any chance for a Keystone Pipeline construction project, the president, citing increased need for climate change, vetoed the much-discussed 1,170-mile line between Canada and the Gulf states. Keystone may be down, but it's not out, as supporters are certain to regroup for another push after the next presidential election. 39 infrastructure programs across 34 states have been awarded federal DOT Tiger grants amounting to $500 million. 629 applications were reviewed, showing the popularity among states for the money. The Tiger Grant program was started in 2009 as an economic stimulus to fund transportation, intended to have a major impact on the region. A leading figure in construction, Terex CEO Ron DeFeo has announced his retirement after nearly 24 years at the helm. During a recent interview, Mr. DeFeo was asked about disruptive influences on the industry.
I don't see any immediate disruptors in our industry. You really are moving material. It's physics. You're digging a hole. It's hard to invent a new way to dig a hole. But frankly, there are many ways to use technology to get closer to the customer, to be more efficient in your delivery systems, to be more responsive in how you take orders for parts. Those are where the areas where we'll use technology to the max. But I also want to use the technology that's between people's ears, because it's the most powerful technology. It's the opportunity to see things that others don't. And if we use the technology that's between our ears, we'll be able to use the digital technology to apply that. It's a challenge, though. When you're in a basic business like ours, it's asking people to stretch in a way that may be uncomfortable.
Terex manufactures heavy equipment ranging from cranes to work platforms and material handling. DeFeo will be replaced as Terex CEO by John Garrison, recently the head of Textron. Labor demand in the Denver area about to explode as the Gaylord Rockies Resort begins construction. Upwards of 10,000 construction workers will be needed on site for the 1,500-room hotel and convention center as construction begins soon. The site is located in Aurora near the Denver International Airport and funded by 9 banks and $850 million. Westinghouse recently acquired Chicago Bridge and Iron's nuclear construction division. The result, a major change in ongoing construction projects. As a result, Westinghouse has selected Fluor Corporation to manage projects. They include the plant Vogtle, 3 and 4 units in Georgia, and the VC Sumner nuclear plant in South Carolina. Georgia alone projects a population increase of 1.5 million by 2025, while demand for energy in the nation's southeast is expected to expand by 27%. Plant Vogtle units 3 and 4, the first new nuclear projects built in the U.S. in 30 years. They're expected to be online by 2019. Wrapping up this edition, learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. This is Construction News Tracker, brought to you by Caterpillar and produced by 4constructionpros.com. Find us on Twitter using hashtag Construction News or at Facebook/4constructionpros, as the streaming web never ends.